I'm here with Lynette Schroeder, the head women's basketball coach at Southern Virginia University. Thanks for the time, coach. Just tell me a little bit about, how was your off season? How was your summer?
Yeah, our off season was productive. We did a lot of recruiting. We were able to get to some tournaments and just be able to see a lot of good athletes, that are looking to move on to the next level. And then we also had some good family time and we were able to relax a little bit and um, get that renewal that you need, definitely after a long season. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And so do you usually remain busy during the summer? And just what is it like? As you mentioned, you got to relax and just take some family time away. It's a two-part question. Just do you remain busy during the summer, and just what's it like to take some time away, from your coaching duties?
Yeah, absolutely. We're it's this job, coaching, and all coaches can attest that it's 24/7. And so during the summer we do remain busy. We look to either host camps or get on the road recruiting. We're constantly talking to PSAs and just trying to find the right athletes that are going to fit our team, our culture, our institution. And so that job just never stops. And
Yeah.
our family, like my kids, they understand that, and so it really is a family affair. With my husband being my associate head coach, our kids understand what that's about. But we also are able to take a couple weeks, in the summer, and just be able to put down the phones and put away the computers and just spend time as a family and do the things that we enjoy.
Yeah. So your upcoming season will begin about a month, November 12th against Washington and Lee. Just what do you look
Mhm.
forward to with the upcoming season, and particularly what you think it'll be like? First four games will be on the road. So what do you look forward to with the upcoming season and first four games being on the road? How do you think that will be?
So you know, I'm looking forward to getting back into the grind we have a large freshman group coming in. So just to continue to build those relationships and get to know my team this year better. We've only had a couple flex practices so far. So we haven't really been able to get in and work every day like we want. But I think it's going to be a challenge. I think it's going to be a great challenge to start our season with road games. There's nothing like just like getting your foot in the fire right away, and I think it'll test us, but we'll be able to learn early what we need to work on and how we need to adapt to find success this season.
Yeah, you have some early, conference road games against Methodist and Meredith, so that'll be a good, test for your team. Tell me more about your team in terms of roster this season. You mentioned a few new, first years. Just tell me about your roster and how you think your team looks for the upcoming season.
We lost a huge senior group, as you probably know. They graduated this spring, and so we brought in a big freshman class that I feel are very talented and they work hard, and it's going to pair really well with our returning class that we have. We have about five seniors that are returning, most with significant minutes from last year. So it'll just be a good mix, and hopefully our freshmen can learn from these seniors and they'll continue to lead like they've done in the past, and we'll just mesh. But there definitely will be some learning curves at the
Yeah,
beginning with that, just divide in class.
yeah, definitely some learning curves with, new first years on your team.
Mhm.
A standout player for your team is Abigail Schneider. Last season, she was named all conference, all regional player. Just, what was it like to see Abigail, have a good season, and what do you see for her, this season?
Yeah, I'm so proud of her because she works so hard. She works tirelessly, in season, out of season. And so it wasn't surprising to see her be awarded with those accolades because she puts the work in all the time, and she's very dedicated to her routine and to her schedule. And so it's just like a really proud moment and just a special time to see her success and her hard work be rewarded.
Yeah, definitely. So your team, not only succeeds, on the court, but in, the classroom, your team was named part of the WBCA's academic team honor roll. So just what does this honor mean, and what does it mean for you as coach for your team to succeed, also in academics?
Well, academics, it comes first. They're a student athlete. And so we really are aware of the time constraint that our athletes have throughout the day with classes and tutoring and then also with their athletic side of things. So we make it a point to have, study hall if we need that, set them up with our student success teams, like all those academic resources that are available for them. And not to mention like that the group that we had last year, they're just really self-driven, motivated, and it just showed in, just our overall team GPA. So really proud of that. And that's something that's kind of a standard of ours, is just making sure that school comes first. And if you're not cutting it in the classroom, then don't expect to come out and participate on the court. And all of our athletes know that coming into our program, so they're ready to work hard in the classroom. And it's just great to see that hard work be rewarded, from an academic standpoint.
Yeah, I think that's great, Coach, that you prioritize the academics, first over the, any results on the, on the basketball court. So I think that's great. Last season, as I think I've mentioned, your team had a very, special last season. You went undefeated in conference play. You repeated as USA South Conference champion. So, up until, just what was it like, going undefeated conference playing, the regular season and then repeating as your conference champions? Just how was that?
It was unbelievable. Like that, this last year's group, they were like the most successful teams that Southern Virginia has ever seen, from a women's basketball standpoint. And, not only did we go undefeated in conference and back-to-back championships, but they also had the record of a 24-game win streak. And so that was pretty impressive as well. And it's just kind of a, you know, combination of all the years that they've dedicated to this program. And it's just a testament to the standards and expectations we have. One of them is like create a legacy. And I think that's what they did. They left, our senior class left with a great legacy, and something that they can always look back down the road and be really proud of.
Yeah. So then tell me a little about your conference, the USA South Conference, and just some of the teams you play in, and just the level of women's basketball in your conference.
We just come to compete every night against our conference opponents. We have goals that we set before the season, and we have a lot of great athletic, hard-nosed competitors in our conference. And so every night it was going to be a battle, and it was going to be not only just like physical, but just mentally. Our athletes need to be tough, and they need to be aware of game plans and what our scout plan was. And so just being able to compete in the USA South and compete against the talent that's there, helps, just helps us be better each night.
Yeah. So after the great regular season, going undefeated at conference play, repeating as USA South Conference champions, then your team, unfortunately lost first round in the NCAA tournament to Bates. So two-part question, Coach. Do you think your team dealt with any, pressure or expectation given the great season they had up until the tournament, in that game against Bates, or was your team mostly just taking it as, another game and a great opportunity to play, in the NCAA tournament? And then given the loss, just what did your team, learn and take away from that game against Bates?
Great question. So I think, anytime you have the opportunity to play on a national stage, there's always going to be nerves. I don't know how you can really prepare for that unless you're continually getting there every year. And we've done a great job to be there the last 3 out of 4 years. Uh, but I think it's just such a fun experience that it's difficult to know how your team's going to respond because, they just haven't consistently been there. But I think that we came out and it was a heartbreaker. Like we had expectations to compete better than we did in that game. Bates is a great team, and I think our it was a tough matchup for us to have a team like Bates in the first round after the success that we had this last season. And but regardless of that, we were in it to the end, and we had a chance. But I think the things that we learned and we can take away from that is just being um ready to go from the start. We started really slow that game, and we had to fight back that whole game. And so hopefully moving forward, our athletes will just understand that, it's regardless of the national stage, it's still a basketball and you're still trying to put in the hoop. And that's what our athletes been doing for years now. And so if we can kind of get that pressure off of them of, just the lights and the just the experience of the national stage, then hopefully they can settle in and just realize it's just another game of basketball and to just go out and play and have fun.
Yeah. So losing is always, difficult, especially in the NCAA tournament, when your season comes to an end. But was that loss particularly, tough for your, senior class last year, particularly given, that probably for most of them was their final game and, you had such a good season up till then?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a shocking loss for us, just in terms of we felt like we were going to perform better. And I think it was a little upsetting
Yeah.
for our athletes to feel like maybe they didn't come out and perform um, the best that they could have. But at the end of the day, they can have pride and they can have solace in knowing that those seniors have had such an incredible 4-year career, winning 3 conference championships in 4 years, being able to go to national tournament 3 times out of those 4 years is pretty remarkable. And so, if they take the whole perspective, they can be really proud of what they've accomplished.
Yeah. So, Coach, you're an alum of Southern Virginia. You were a student athlete on the women's basketball team, and you've been the head coach since 2019. So, just how was your time, attending Southern Virginia, and just what has it been like, for you being the head coach now since 2019?
Yeah, I enjoyed my time at Southern Virginia as a student athlete. It was fun. I met my husband here. A lot of great memories, so many great teammates. We won a USCA national championship while I was here as an athlete, and it just holds a special place in my heart. And so it's really exciting and rewarding to come back and see the growth that the university has had since I was a student athlete, and since being a coach, just to see the growth continue, and and to have success as an athlete and then also as a coach is a blessing.
Yeah, definitely. So, after being a student athlete at Southern Virginia, Coach, what drew you to become a coach, and just what have you learned, or what have been the biggest, things you've learned throughout your coaching career so far?
So believe it or not, I didn't even want to coach. Once I
Okay.
graduated, I was interested in pursuing the medical field, and right after college, I started working at a physical therapy clinic and starting to study for the MCAT and things like that. But one of the PTs there, he was like, "Hey, my daughter's playing high school. They need a coach. Why don't you go help out?" And I thought, no, I can't do this. But, he nudged me enough to for me to reach out and start my coaching journey. And I realized that I actually loved it and that I had that was kind of a calling, that I loved the sport of basketball. I dedicated so much of my life to it already that I couldn't give that up. And so that kind of started my coaching journey and has led me through many opportunities of growth and of learning about myself, but also learning that at the end of the day, the person is the most important. not the wins or losses, but just being able to build relationships with others, being able to inspire those that I coach, and also help prepare them for life after athletics is really important for me. And to also help them understand that their worth is not tied up in who they are as an athlete, but that, that they're daughters of God and they have so much ahead of them that this is only, basketball is only a stepping stone in the grand scheme of things. And so those are things that I've learned, and I've learned to be adaptable. I feel like I was probably pretty rigid earlier in my coaching career and wanted things certain ways, but I've learned that as I've built better relationships and understood my athletes more, I've been able to adapt to the things that are going to help them be their best.
Yeah.
And so those are, growing milestones that I think I've had and will continue to learn as I keep coaching.
Yeah, so talking about the relationships you build, which I'm sure is very special to you, Coach. You've just, talked about my final question, but for you, what is most special to you about coaching, especially at Southern Virginia? And then also the success you've attained so far in your career, just overall this opportunity, coaching at Southern Virginia, your alma mater, just how special has this been for you?
It's been really special. It kind of seems like it's come full circle. Like I mentioned earlier, like meeting my husband here, and now we're coaching together.
Yeah,
Southern Virginia is just like such a family environment, and it's such a, like a special place to be. And so I want all those athletes, all those student athletes that come and play for me to understand that it truly is about family and it truly is about building character and building relationships. I think one of the most special things that I'm able to do as a coach here at Southern Virginia is share my faith and my love for Jesus Christ every day. Because we are a Christian university, I'm able to bring the light of Christ into their lives, and we're able to have those discussions regardless of their beliefs or where they are on their journey. It just is something that is very fulfilling to me to be able to let them know that God loves them and be able to incorporate that into basketball and into our culture.
yeah.
And so that's one of the best things about working here. And also that I get to work with my husband. That's pretty cool too.